far, I've talked about the Commodore 64 and the Atari 2600. However, as the years move on, the next console I've had was the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES. Yes, the 8-bit classic, which is today's topic of Retrodocs. To talk about the history of the NES, we have to go back to 1983, with a big video game crash due to games like E.T. and Pac-Man and the loss of confidence they caused with consumers. A small upstart company out of Japan that was making arcade units decided to try its hand in making a cartridge-based home console, and that company was Nintendo. In 1983, Nintendo came out with their first console, calling it the Family Computer, or most commonly known as the Famicom, which was officially launched in Japan on July 15, 1983. However, it was hit with mixed receptions in the US, as most retailers were afraid to sell anything labeled video game, and wanted to lean more towards personal computers at the time. So, Hiroshi Yamauchi, then president of Nintendo, told American executives to launch it in the most difficult market, New York City, thinking that if they can make it there, they can make it anywhere. However, the gamble didn't pay off, since retailers didn't take the NES. But the head of Nintendo of America had an idea. He told retailers Nintendo would provide the product and do the setup, and any unsold Nintendos they would pay for, and retailers felt that it was a risk-free idea, and a few retailers agreed to it. However, they knew in order to sell more units in the States, they had to get away with anything dealing with video games, so they focused on games that are played with the controller, and so it included two things that came with the Famicom in Japan: the Light Gun, which was used for the release of titles like Duck Hunt and Rob the Robot. The NES was launched with 17 games made for it, and they were Duck Hunt, which was included in the console with Light Gun, Gyromite, which came with the console and Rob the Robot, 10-Yard Fight, Baseball, Clue Clue Land, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Excite Bike, Golf, Hogan's Alley, Ice Climber, Kung Fu, Mach Rider, Pinball, Stack Up, which uses Rob the Robot, Tennis, Wild Gunman, and Wrecking Crew. However, by this point, they hadn't released the one title that would set them in motion to make the NES one of the hottest selling consoles at the time, and that was Super Mario Bros. Now, expecting that the NES was headed towards selling a ton off the shelves of retailers, begging for more, but the initial sales in the US was only about 50,000 units, which is half of what was manufactured. But Okinawa still wanted to press on and keep going with expanding sales, and including in other cities like LA, Chicago, and San Francisco. By the end of the year, NES had went national, and video games were brought back from extinction. The NES was the console that brought back video games, and from then on, they always had found a way to keep up with the ever-changing video game market with newer consoles like the Super Nintendo in 1999, and so on as the years went on. And even today, they still had a major foothold in the market with the Nintendo Switch. Did you ever have one of these as a kid? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm Paul saying peace out and stay frosty.